Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video, or if you're new, hi, my name is Sarah, I'm an illustrator, and in this video I will be working on 2 sketchbook spreads as well as trying out Ohuhu's 120 alcohol marker set and some of their other products that they sent me. And I am also going to be talking about my Salem trip that I took at the beginning of September because I filmed a bunch of footage for it, but I ended up not being able to create a vlog because I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of bad at doing like art vlogs, so I kind of just wanted to put little snippets in here that I really liked and make it more of like a FaceTime style draw with me. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And before we get started, I want to thank all of my patrons. Your names are on the screen, and if you would like to join my Patreon community, we do all kinds of fun stuff over there, such as exclusive content like behind the scenes stuff, such as my sketchbook pages that I don't share anywhere, as well as physical rewards. And I'm gonna put October's physical reward on the screen. I decided to go for like a ghost book club because I started my own book club this month. We ended up having to move it because of the hurricane. I did wanted to do something related to that. I did this spooky graveyard scene with ghosts who are having their own little book club, and I also have a sticker with it. So if you would like to get these rewards, make sure you sign up before the end of October. And to my already existing patrons, thank you so much for all of your support. And now that that's out of the way, let's get into the video. So again, we are going to be trying out Ohuhu's 120 alcohol marker set, as well as their mixed media pad that they kindly sent me. The sketchbook is very nice. It has a textured front, which is very interesting. I am not sure how I feel about it because it kind of feels weird to the touch, and I like my sketchbooks with a more smooth surface. I'm also not exactly sure how stickers would be sticking. I don't know if like they would peel off a little bit easier, but I'm gonna feel it out as I keep working in it. This sketchbook has 78 pages, which is definitely way more than the one I'm currently using, so I definitely think I'm going to be putting this aside for a little bit. I will be trying it today, but I don't think I'm going to be using this right now because I already have like 2 sketchbooks that I'm already working in. Each page is perforated, so you can tear it out if you want to. I might end up just taking a couple of pages out of it if I ever need like a mixed media paper, but I definitely don't think I'm going to be using the sketchbook at the moment because of the size of it. For the marker set, it comes in this black cloth carrier, which has both a long and a short strap, which is great if you would like to take it somewhere. Again, going back to like art picnic, this is awesome. Put it on your shoulder and carry it. I definitely think this is a lot more effective than the other marker set I have tried before that comes in a box, and this one is like a lot more portable. Each marker is a dual tip, meaning one side is with a chisel tip and the other one is with a brush tip. And as I've said before many times, I love brush tips, so these are just perfect for me and my art practice. Inside the bag, they provide swatch sheets, a booklet with guides and the colors, as well as a protective mat for your bleed-throughs. I did find out that the sheet was a bit small. Like, it's good for a smaller sketchbook, but not for either I'm using today. Though to be fair, those don't tend to have a bleed through anyway, so I guess it makes sense for a smaller sketchbook like a Moleskine, or for example, my ugly sketchbook would probably need this like bleed through sheet. These markers also didn't come color coded, which, not gonna lie, made swatching take a bit longer than I expected, but to be fair, it was 120 markers, so like I shouldn't have expected this to take 5 minutes to do. Like, I knew I was gonna sit here and swatching all of these colors. I do appreciate that they are labeled both the number and name on the top of the cap, so if I didn't find the number, I could go off of the color name. I was also able to double check that I was doing the right color the entire time, so I didn't mess up any of my swatches. But yeah, this set has a great range of colors, and I was very happy to see that there were a lot of greens and yellows, which are the main colors I needed for the sketches I wanted to do for this video. Once that was done, it was time to sketch. So as I said before, I visited Salem last month with my partner. It was a place we always wanted to visit because we are both very into witches and Halloween. It's also October, which means a spooky spread was in order. For the Ohuhu sketchbook, I kind of went into it completely blind and put whatever on paper, hoping it would work together, which was honestly very nerve-wracking. I did end up doing a whole nother page in my current sketchbook because I was convinced I would scrap the whole thing and not even finish it. You will see at the end that I did end up completing both of them, and I actually like it, but it was definitely a struggle while I was like working on this page. Even though sketching was very difficult and I didn't really go into it with intentions or having like an idea of what I wanted to draw, I'm kind of glad I ended up doing this because I felt like I could really test out the colors this way. And honestly, sometimes you just need to sit down and just draw whatever comes to your mind, even if you don't really think it's gonna look okay. I definitely think I needed this to just like get stuff out of my brain for me to be able to do the other page in my other sketchbook. So I ended up drawing a witch, a couple of pumpkins, my skeleton character. I both wanted to test out the paper as well as use these fine liners that Ohuhu also sent me. This is their set of 8 fine liners that also comes with a brush pen, which was the one I was most curious about trying out because that's what I mainly work with when it comes to liners. I do think lining is what made me very nervous about this page. The brush pen is very different from my usual Pentel pocket pen. It was more wide and a felt tip rather than a detailed brush tip. It was kind of hard to control and the lines ended up being very wobbly. I ended up regretting not using the other pens instead because I feel like it would have been easier to control those. I'm honestly just so rusty when it comes to liners. Like, I don't even remember when was the last time I used them, which is interesting because it used to be my like favorite type of art supply. Like, I used to get all of those like micron pens all the time and I would use them before I would do my alcohol markers. Like, the method I'm gonna be doing for this page is literally how I used to draw mainly in my sketchbook. So I'm kind of going back to my roots here, and I think this is what made me nervous about it because I haven't done it in so long that it just looked wrong when I was working on it. I would love to use them more often though, because the other liners in the set are pretty great. They don't smudge and dry incredibly fast, actually working pretty quickly because I didn't have to worry about my hands smudging the page. It did look a little rough with just the line work, but please trust the process because the end result is a lot better than this, I promise. I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually ended up coloring in most of the witch off camera because I really was convinced that this was going to end up looking really bad. And I just wanted to try out the markers and see how the colors look and then take this as an example of, okay, these colors work, I will use them later and just do a whole nother page. I saw the line work and I was like, okay, this is it, I'm gonna tear out the page. But then I kept working with these markers and it ended up looking pretty okay. Like, it's still not my preferred method of drawing, which is to do colored pencil instead of the black liners, but it was something different for a change. You know, again, going back to my roots, kind of doing what I used to do. And it did help me experiment with the colors a little bit before moving into the other sketchbook. Also, I kind of really like the overall layout of this spread. I was very inspired by Greg Lusky's sketchbook spread, which has like a bunch of little doodles and most of the time it has like a full body person. I feel like this is what I need to start doing more often just to have a bit of variety in my sketchbook because all I have right now are full finished pieces. If you watched my previous sketchbook tour, the video where I was drawing in my sketchbook for a whole week, all I talked about is how I want to do finished pieces in my sketchbook so I can take pictures of them and I can post them on Instagram. And now that's all I do in that sketchbook. Whenever I do my YouTube videos, I just do like fully finished drawings in it and I don't really do any other like fun collage-y, you know, all kinds of like artwork on one page. It's kind of bumming me out because it's kind of making the sketchbook look like I'm not really doing anything else with it other than like finished pieces. Like, it doesn't look like a sketchbook. It just looks like as if like I printed my art out and it's just in a book. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just not something that I am very happy with right now. So this was honestly great because I think this really is inspiring me to do more stuff like this. But going back to Salem after this long tangent, this was our first trip that we took by ourselves. We have gone on a couple of trips with both our parents, but we never traveled alone together. We flew into Boston because there was no direct flight to Salem. We ended up renting a car to drive into town, and oh my god, that was so stressful because one, that was my first time getting and driving a rental car in a strange city, so you can imagine my nerves. And two, there was like a bunch of construction in Boston because I think they were fixing a tunnel or something. So it took us like 30 minutes to just find the exit to the highway. Let's just say I was very proud of myself after we arrived for literally not combusting on the spot, because I literally have never done this before. And, you know, we were just off of this flight and I'm so glad we were able to like find our way into Salem and everything. Once we got to Salem, we dropped our luggages off at the bed and breakfast that we stayed at, which was super close to downtown, like around like 10 to 15 minute walk to all of the shops and everything. The bed and breakfast ended up being so cool. It was furnished with beautiful antiques and had a big claw foot tub in the middle. The bathroom also had this gorgeous wallpaper, and matching the room's antique had this beautiful sink. It was also surprisingly very clean considering it looks so old. It's obvious that the owners really love it and keeping it very nice. The first day we had a lot of time to wander around and browse in shops because our check-in was at 4, but we arrived around noonish. We ended up getting pizza at this super cute sci-fi themed restaurant, and they had such fun cocktails which were themed after iconic Halloween movies. I think they were like seasonal. They had a drink called Spider Monkey, as in like Twilight Spider Monkey, and they had like a bunch of other ones that I really liked. But yeah, their pizza was delicious. They had like a whole vegan menu, so both my partner and I are vegan, so it was very cool to see a completely vegan pizza menu. Some of the cool shops we stopped by was Black Craft that had this gorgeous ceiling and a big witch sculpture. I believe the store was originally a bank, which you can actually see because they kept some of the old vault doors, and the upstairs area you can definitely tell that it used to be a bank. They also had a coffee shop in the back, which we did try, but I didn't end up liking the coffee we picked. It was a cold brew, and I think I should have gone with a hot pumpkin spice or something like that. Their hours was a little wacky too because the coffee shop opened when the store opened. So we were trying to get coffee at like 9ish, like I think before like 11 o'clock, but because the store doesn't open until like 10 or 11, you can't get their coffee. Like you have to wait until the store opens because the coffee shop is in the back. So we ended up not going back there again because it was just, again, I wanted coffee early in the morning when we got up, and we got up early because we wanted to, you know, see a lot of stuff. So yeah, anyways, that was just a little disappointing, but overall it was like a very cool shop, and I like the idea that they have behind their coffee. Their other coffees probably taste a lot better. I just didn't get the chance to try it. My second favorite store was Nocturne, that I would describe more as a dark academia library witch aesthetic. We went kind of crazy here and got a lot of stuff because honestly their merch was really cute, and they have a lot of witchy artists who sell their stuff there. For example, there were a lot of stickers and artist candles that they were selling there. So yeah, honestly I really loved that store, and I would love to have a library that looks exactly like that. The next day, we visited a couple of historic places and a museum. We started out at the Peabody Essex Art Museum, which had a lot of cool art exhibits. It kind of reminded me a bit of Ringling Museum in Sarasota. I think it's because they had all kinds of sections, like such as like Asian art, and then they had like Native American art. So it was just a very diverse set of exhibitions that you could see. They also had a witch trial exhibit, which had a lot of the original writing of those trials that you could read, which gave you some more information of why these people were prosecuted. My favorite part had to have been the maritime art exhibit with all the sea-related works. They had ship models, paintings of the ocean and sea. It makes me want to paint some ocean scenes with boats or lighthouses. I didn't take a video of this, but they had a sketchbook with all kinds of sketches of people on the dock and boats. It was fascinating to see how these artists studied their surroundings and then turned them into paintings. Connected to the Peabody Museum was the Ropes Mansion, which was actually one of the filming locations for Hocus Pocus. If you remember Allison's house that Max and Danny stopped at, this was it. Both the inside and the outside of this house was absolutely stunning. There was a garden in the back that was filled with all kinds of flowers and plants. We did end up spending a lot of time sitting here and just enjoying the weather, which ended up being perfect. I really wish Florida would have this weather, not the yucky, humid air that we usually get around, end of August and September. For the next couple of days, we did similar things such as walking around, shopping, and visiting the House of Seven Gables, aka the home of the author who wrote The Scarlet Letter. There was also this adorable little lighthouse close to our B&B that we loved going to in the morning just to sit around and read. It was just a lovely place to visit with so much to do, and it was also great to learn more about the history of the witch trials. But yeah, it really was just a dream come true, and I'm very glad that we decided to go and we were able to see this place, and especially during September, because I know that around Halloween time it gets kind of crazy there. So I definitely think going during Labor Day weekend was just the perfect time, where it's getting a little bit cooler, the weather is really nice, but there's not crazy tourism going on. Yeah, overall I really enjoyed this trip, and if you're thinking about going there, I highly recommend it because it really just kicks off the spooky season for you. Every day we are just looking back on the pictures and just thinking back on the trip, and we are just oh man, I wish we were still there. It was just so relaxing, and just overall I loved being in a walkable town where you could just walk to places. So yeah, overall I just think this trip was awesome. Back to the last bit of this art now. After I decided that I didn't completely ruin the other page, I still wanted to try these markers out with my usual method of drawing. Just to keep the theme going, I drew this cute little pumpkin character holding a lantern. I also added a border around it with all kinds of elements like ghosts, moons, and stars. It definitely helped that I already had an understanding of what the colors would look like from the previous page, and I realized that the orange that I used for the pumpkins on the previous one were way too dark and way too saturated. So I decided to use the melon yellow, which looks like a muted orange or mustard almost, but once I added the shading, you can totally see it as more of a pumpkin orange color. What I will say is that some of the kept colors are a little bit off. I had to keep checking what the color name was because I felt like when I was just grabbing it based off of the kept color, it was just not matching on what was on paper. So I definitely think the swatch is very beneficial when working with these markers, because I feel like some of the kept colors are not matching up with how it looks like on the paper. It wasn't a huge deal, but it was something to look out for just to make sure it looks how you want it to look. I had so much fun with these markers though, and I cannot wait to integrate them into my art practice. It has all the colors you need for all kinds of projects. So thank you so much to Ohuhu for letting me try these out, and if you would like to get your own set, I have it listed in my description below, as well as a discount code for you to get 10% off of your first purchase. And thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments if you have any fun Halloween plans, and I hope to see you in the next one. Happy Halloween and make lots of art.